Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm Holly and this is the South Texas Skillet, and we cook a lot of my family's favorite recipes together. Today we're gonna do a nice budget-friendly dinner with some smoked turkey and cabbage and noodles. All right, let's get started. Okay, so for this, we're going to start with a head of cabbage. I like to find the cabbage that still has a lot of the green leaves to it, especially on a recipe like this one. You're gonna break those pieces off. I did already wash this cabbage. So I snap those off first. Set that aside, and then we're just going to cut it. If the stem right here is too thick, you can cut that out if you wanted to. I think ours is going to be just fine. I am going to cut these in half. Put those halves on top of each other and cut them again in half. Again, just stack it. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut this into pieces. You can cut them into squares if you want to. I'm cutting them into thick ribbons. However you want to do it is going to be just fine. Okay, this is going to all go into a bowl. And we're going to use at least half of this cabbage. So I don't ever cut through the core. I like to start right on the edge of the core and just cut straight down. All right, and then we're gonna take this piece, flip it over, and then just cut it. You're gonna cut it into strips. And then you're going to take those strips and just cut them into halves or thirds, depending on how long they are. I think we're going to go into thirds. And then this is going to go in that same bowl. So it's going to seem like a whole lot of cabbage at first, but it cooks down. Okay, again, we're going to cut off another piece, and I'm going to go right next to this part here where the stem was and just cut straight down. And you could take this little corner and cut that way just to get that part so you're not wasting any of it. If you were doing the whole cabbage, I keep cutting around and you'll find the core. I just cut around it. And it's so much easier for me to do it that way instead of trying to cut that core out or cut through the core and cut your cabbage in half. All right, this is a smaller piece and some of it is already small enough, so I'm just going to put it in there. I'm going to cut those in half and we are done. So if you have any cabbage left over that you wanted to save for another meal, just take the bag that you had when you bought it, Put your cabbage in there, put it back in the fridge, and it'll save for another probably 3 days. Okay, and this is how much cabbage we got off of just that little piece. So I think it's going to be perfect for today. And I think the rest of it, we're going to end up frying it. One of my favorite ways to cook a cabbage is to fry it in bacon grease with onions and just have that as a side dish. What we're doing today is very similar to that, except it's being mixed in with other things. All right, I'm gonna get all these little pieces, just put them in there. Okay, let me get this wiped down. All right, if you weren't aware, you can put plain paper towels in your compost. Okay, so now we're gonna cut up our onions, and this is 2 somewhat small Vidalia onions. I have a whole bunch of onions that I could have used today, but when I went to the grocery store, I saw that they had Vidalia onions, and we don't always have them in our stores. We have what's called Texas sweet onions, which are the same kind of sweet variety of onion, but Vidalia onions are supposed to be kind of superior to all other sweet onions, but they only grow in Georgia. There's only a certain place that they're allowed to grow, and it has something to do with the acidity of the soil that makes them taste so good, which is why other sweet onions don't quite taste as well as they do. So when I saw these onions in the store today, I just grabbed them. I was super excited. Another unique thing about Vidalia onions is they, when you're cutting into them, they don't produce the chemical that makes you tear up. So that's nice. These are really small onions, so I'm doing 2 of them. Normally I would just do 1. Okay, I'm just gonna dice this up. Doesn't have to be perfect. I never care what my onions look like when I dice them. I'm not very particular about it. And we're gonna put this in a bowl. All right, so our vegetables are done. Let's set that here. And now we're going to take some sausage. This is smoked sausage, and I always get the turkey smoked sausage. It's just a little bit less greasy. All right, so take your sausage and just slice them maybe about a 1/4 inch thick. And this gets its own bowl. All right, so we have everything diced up or chopped up. So now we'll start cooking. So I have my water coming up to a boil now, and it's already heavily salted. And we are going to add in egg noodles once it starts to boil. Now we're going to get our meat and our vegetables cooked. So I'm gonna do this in a Dutch oven. I'm gonna turn it on and add in some butter. Probably about, let's do about a tablespoon at first. And that's gonna be for our meat. We're gonna cook this, and then remove it from the pot, and then we'll do our vegetables. And I want to do them in bacon grease instead of butter. Once your butter's melted, go ahead and add in your sausage. And because this sausage is already cooked, I'm not going to do it in batches. I'm just going to do it all at once. It'll be just fine. So we're just looking to get some color on all of them. They don't really release too much liquid, so it's going to be perfect. Once your sausage has built up some color, we're going to remove it to a plate. And there's some pretty dark fond in the bottom of the pan, but I know the cabbage is going to do a wonderful job at getting that up, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, we're just going to set this aside. I'm going to add a little bit more butter. And then we're going to add our onions and let those cook for a couple of minutes. So our water is boiling, and I'm going to add in our egg noodles. This is 16 ounces. I don't think I'm going to use all of it, almost all of it, but not quite. So I used about 10 ounces of noodles. Give that a good stir, and then let it cook for as long as it says on the package. So our onions are starting to soften. They're translucent. They're not quite caramelized yet, but that fond on the bottom is getting a little bit too dark. So I want to go ahead and add in our cabbage. I'm going to add in some bacon grease. And I can link this bacon container, this grease container for you down below. It's really nice. It has a filter, so every time you make your bacon, you can pour it through the filter, the sieve, and it collects your bacon grease for you. And I just leave it right here on my countertop. All right, so my bacon grease is in there. I'm not taking the onions out, and I'm going to add in our cabbage. And this should release just enough water to get that fond up off the bottom of the pan before it burns. If it doesn't, I'm going to add in a little bit of chicken broth to help it out. So this cabbage is going to cook down to about half the size that it was raw. And the whole time I'm mixing it, I am scraping up the bottom. I want to be careful because I don't want to cook the cabbage too long, but I also don't want that fond to burn, because then it's going to make the whole dish taste like burnt food, and that's not what I want. All right, I think I am going to add just a splash of chicken broth to this. You could add water if you wanted to as well, but I had chicken broth and I thought that would give it some good flavor. Just kind of builds on the flavor of the cabbage and the onions and the sausage. There we go. I didn't add a lot, probably less than 1/4 cup. So our noodles are almost done. I went ahead and turned them off so that way they can just continue to cook in the hot water. I'm gonna try not to overcook them. Okay, I did not season the cabbage and the onions yet. I wanted some of that liquid from the chicken broth to cook off a little bit before I give the cabbage any salt. If I add salt to this right now, it's going to produce a lot of liquid because it pulls that water out of the cabbage, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to season it after some of the liquid cooks off. Once your cabbage is almost done, go ahead and season it well with salt and pepper. Give it a good toss, and then we're going to mix in our noodles and our sausage. So I'm going to take my noodles directly from this pot into this pot. I'm going to turn this off. All right, and we're going to add in our sausage. Give this a good mix, and dinner will be ready. All right, so everything is done. We're going to serve this today with some sliced tomatoes with some salt and pepper on it. It is my favorite summertime side dish. Okay, I'm going to take some meat and some cabbage and a noodle, and let's try it. And this is the ultimate comfort food. It tastes like something that my grandparents used to make when we were kids. It just kind of takes me home. It really did not cost a lot at all to make. I think with the 3 packs of sausage, it was $6. And then the noodles are fairly cheap. And cabbage is only about $2 for a large head of cabbage. So this whole meal really came together in under $10 for the entire family. And I think your family is going to love it just as much as mine does. All right, if you would like to see a dessert recipe that would go great with this, you can click the link right here and go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe to help my channel grow, and I will see you in the next one.